Now, I can just sense he's absolutely frothing at the mouth. Of course he is. It's Dr. Roger Gewolb. He's CEO of Fair Money, personal finance and credit expert, and he gets very upset about pretty much everything. It's not surprising because, to be honest, we've got some very difficult stories that we've got to tackle. Dr. Roger, good morning.
Good morning, James.
Good morning. Right, we'll sort out the technology in a second. However, I know that you like to froth at various things. No-fault divorce, though. If you're going through divorce, I'm assuming that this could have a positive impact on your finances.
It depends on your personal circumstances. I mean, I can easily predict that a lot of couples' personal financial arrangements are going to be altered now. Homes sold, assets disposed of, and the like. A lot more couples will surely be untying the knot now that they don't have to wait living in limbo or blaming each other for things that didn't happen.
But isn't the critical point here, which is that if you've got to untangle your finances, then if you go through a lengthy legal process, then what you're really having to do is spend an awful lot of money on lawyers as opposed to being able to divide your assets without having to do that. So that the people, hopefully, who are losing out on this are the lawyers.
Yes, well, that's for sure. I mean, I know of one couple that divorced not all that long ago, and the legal bill for simply making a list of the assets, which they could have done themselves with a pencil and a cup of coffee, was ridiculous.
Okay. So let's talk about electric car charging points. I'm sure that there aren't enough of them around the country, and those that there are, someone appears to have hacked them.
Yes, so I've spoken several times already on this program about the pathetic lack of electric car charging points and the outrageous fees that some owners of these points are charging people. But there's an entirely new angle now. It seems that the electric car charging points on the Isle of Wight were hacked yesterday, and the council's website on the screen was replaced with pornography. Now, as if motorists weren't already fighting over getting to electric car charging points, no doubt somebody in the council is wondering whether they should charge extra for that. I hope you'll forgive me for the pun.
You are forgiven. Let's talk about energy bills because, look, we've all got to pay more money for our energy. I am having protracted discussions with my energy supplier, trying to navigate through to understand what you're doing, where you're spending money, what you're spending it on, what you can cut out, all of those things. And there is also some help which is there, but is probably, as ever, quite convoluted. Can you navigate our way through?
Well, today, the importance of this is that today the Prime Minister is going to come out with his big energy plan for the country.
Hooray!
Yeah, well, he's already warned us that we're not going to be all that happy because given all the horrendous things, as you say, going on in the world at the moment, James, he's not going to be able to do that much for us. But I do hope he can do more than Rishi Sunak's spring statement last week, which was, as we discussed, pretty lukewarm, your favorite word. A poll that I did on social media over the last 2 weeks, which concluded the other day.
Oh, well, it must be true if it's done on social media.
Yeah, but nevertheless, 80% of the respondents to my poll said that they had been unable to find a single petrol station that had reduced the price of petrol by the 5p that the Chancellor gave us that they're supposed to reduce.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that because they don't have to publish their previous data, you won't know and you won't remember. And I can't remember exactly what my local petrol station is charging or whatever. The other thing, Roger, which I think is really important, because you've just put out a stat there. You do realise that 76% of all statistics are made up.
Yes, well, there's been a poll about that, which says that 99% of that 76% are false. So I don't know what we should really do.
We should probably all pack up and go home. How on earth do we get to a way in which we can have trust and confidence in the prices that are being charged at the pump? Because there are apps, and maybe that's the way forward. There are apps that show you what different petrol stations are charging near where you are.
Well, apps are great, and they certainly changed all of our lives for the better in the main. But I mean, the simplest solutions are often the best, and it's just My wife is very good at this. I mean, we just have 3 or 4 local petrol stations that we look at and even note down what the price is. So there's no mistaking people who have raised and people who have lowered and people who have not changed their prices. I mean, you don't need to survey the country. Just the ones that you use will be enough.
Meanwhile, Ukraine, inevitably, there's been a lot of money raised in this country for those people. How much? What have we been doing?
Well, I think we raised about 150 million. This is apart from all the 30 billion and the billion pounds that you referred to in aid and arms and such. Just in pure wanga, in pure cash, we raised 150 million pounds in the first 5 days, of £1 million an hour, which is really extraordinary, and it's great. But James, I look at the news and say, when are we actually going to do something? I mean, how can we sit here every night and watch pictures of bodies bound and shot in the head and women and children killed? And how long do we let this go on the news? It's surreal. It's like,
but what I find extraordinary is that if we are unprepared to go in and do something, as you suggest, because we don't want to see World War III, the thing that concerns me is the money that we keep talking about, saying we must stop the money so that we must undermine their machine. Their war machine has received 35 billion euros since this started from Europe because people keep buying their oil, their coal, their gas. As soon as we turn off those taps, the better. And I know that it's difficult because we have energy supply and it has all sorts of ramifications. But the fact that Joe Biden has been so slow to release oil reserves, the fact that so many countries elsewhere with whom we have good trading relationships have not stepped up to the mark, needs to be done now and more quickly. Anyway, we've had a little bit of a rant there, Roger, and well, thank you for that. There we are. We are out of time. That's Dr. Roger Gewolb, CEO of Fair Money, personal finance and credit expert. We will speak again very soon here on Talk Radio.